Well, good morning. It is cold. Um, Maybe not as cold as what Congress and the president did during the holidays that most of us were not aware of, and that honestly I was not aware of until I read something early this morning. I do read other Substacks. There's a great one that is done by Mary Pat Campbell, where she gets into a lot of public finance issues, particularly focusing on public pensions and other post-employment benefits. And she did a great article this morning about another piece of legislation that came out of the lame duck session and was signed into law by President Biden. And not only is this problematic for Social Security, it's also a really bad look for state and local employees in various parts of the country. The legislation would enable in public employees, state and local employees in jurisdictions that have chose to opt out of paying Social Security taxes to be able to claim Social Security benefits, retirement benefits. This, I can see how this happened, and at the same time, this doesn't do the profession of local government any favors. What's going on is, for many years, many decades, various state and local governments have had the option of, instead of contributing on behalf of their workers in Social Security, i.e. paying Social Security taxes, they have had the option to take that money and apply it to kind of like a separate retirement program. And this is done in several states. It's not done here in North Carolina. It's not done in Virginia or Tennessee. And I remember a generation ago when we were talking about the possibilities of reforming Social Security, making it to where your contributions, you had more ownership of your contributions, or at least more say of your contributions, that, these particular locations were actually touted as models by advocates of reforming Social Security because their returns were doing well and they were building wealth. I mean, they were building wealth. They were building interest in holdings. And now it looks like it's not happening anymore. And a lot of it is that many of these places that did this were emerging cities at the time that were seeing a lot of growth and development. They were in a position that they were adding to workforce, so they had obviously more people paying in than not. And just like many other defined benefit plans, these plans are now underwater. And because you're talking about, in a lot of cases, individual cities, individual counties, individual smaller groups of jurisdictions, as a result, their scale is not such possibly that they are able to cover their liabilities. So they have unfunded obligations. It's creating challenges for them. There was a story, I think it's been in the last 2 years, where I want to say the city of Dallas, they actually were trying to buy out some of their more experienced employees, basically because they saw serious issues with their pension fund. And now it seems like this has kind of been worked out almost as a bailout for these workers, so where they will be able to access Social Security. I would imagine that will then lead to some changes in the benefits that these employees will be receiving from their jurisdiction's pension plans. It's not a good look. Let's be honest about it. This is the kind of thing that, that's why thinking about these things, you need to be careful. I can understand that you don't want to perhaps hold the workers, particularly because they're in public service. I can understand you don't want to hold the workers at harm for something that's outside of their control. And at the same time, I think that this is not a good look because it sets another precedent that could lead to some additional things going on. We know, of course, that there have been cases over the last many years where various private pension plans have been absorbed into the federal government's programs on pensions. And all that's doing is kind of creating a situation where it further drives up the unfunded liabilities and obligations at the federal level. Social Security itself is not in good shape, and all we've done in this case is increase how much its obligations are going to grow over the next several years by a considerable amount by making more people eligible. So this is something that we really need to pay attention to, because it is obviously going to drive government expenditures up at the federal level, and it's going to create an additional challenge in terms of trying to tame federal deficits, which right now don't look like they're in any position to go down. And obviously you're trying to figure out how we can keep them at least at their current levels, or not, perhaps shrink them some, and at the same time maintain the existing tax structure, because if the current tax structure expires at the end of the year without changes, there's going to be some significant tax increases for many Americans. So this is not something pleasant to find out about here at the first of the year. It is something that is going to have to be adapted to and factored into short-term and long-term fiscal planning for the federal government and for Social Security going forward. I hope everybody stays warm and safe. Take care. Have a good day.